friend, welcome. I wanted to talk a little bit about breakfast this morning. It's night. I never do this on the right time. I wanted to talk a little bit about breakfast, specifically oats. If you're new here, thanks for coming. I'm Jen. I'm married to Alex and we have 4 kids. They are 3, 5, 11, and 14. And I like to chat about contentment and what that means in a world that's just full of comparison. And oatmeal, does that make sense with contentment? I'm not really sure, but we'll get there, I think. Oats are hard. Breakfast is hard. I've mentioned before, we're mostly a paleo family. Oats is one thing that we eat on a pretty regular basis that obviously isn't paleo. It's a grain, but I think it's a pretty healthy grain and it's inexpensive and it's easy. So it's something that I use often for breakfast. And maybe your kids are similar to mine and they get tired of the same thing over and over and over. I can eat the same thing every day for like a month and be completely fine. But my kids want a variety and usually they want cereal. But cereal is expensive and it's not always that healthy. And I don't know. It's expensive. Let's just be honest. Even if you get like the really cheap stuff and on sale, it's still expensive to feed everybody every day. And it's not that filling either. So then you have to buy more of it. So anyway, all that to say, we use oats a lot. But I try to be a little bit creative in how I use oatmeal for our breakfast. So tonight, I'm going to actually make steel cut oats, and I'm going to make them in my crock pot. So it's late. It's like 11 o'clock. And so I'm going to put these in my crock pot, and then tomorrow morning, they will be ready to go for breakfast. When I think about what it is that I'm making and how I'm using these oats, I just want to make it a little more than just oatmeal. You know, sometimes I think of oatmeal as like that porridge, like plop, yeah, plop the thing, and it's just like goo in a bowl, right? So I just want to make it a little more fun, a little more special. So I like to add in things like fruit and nuts, and I add in things too for healthful reasons. So, you know, stuff like flaxseed and collagen or protein powder just kind of makes it sit in the belly a little longer. When we make things like oatmeal pancakes, we add extra eggs for that protein also. So just making it a little more fun, a little more healthful, a little more interesting. And then we just don't get that like, blah, we're having oatmeal again, right? But we also then aren't worried about like, are we making bacon and eggs and potatoes and all the things for a big breakfast, or just cereal or a Pop-Tart or donuts. Might be my personal favorite. But this just gives me an opportunity to make breakfast a little bit healthier, a little bit less expensive, and a little bit easier. So I have a few recipes for you over the next few days, and we'll chat about that. But right now, I just want to get my crock pot going for tonight. So I'm just going to put it on low. And the trick is, with steel cut oats, is to actually put a bowl inside your crock pot. Now, I've never had an issue with it cracking, but I can't promise that it won't. But what it does is, we're actually going to put water in the bottom of the pot and then set this down inside, because that will kind of create like a little water bath, and then it doesn't, this isn't directly on the heat, so it won't burn. Which, if you put it just directly in your pot, it will burn. So I am going to put some water here in the bottom. Put my bowl in. And now I need to get more water because I need some in the steel cut oats. What's nice about oatmeal in general, any kind of oats, so, you know, rolled oats or steel cut oats, is that they're really versatile. And if you just have like a basic recipe, whether it's for steel cut oats in a crock pot or baked oatmeal or oatmeal pancakes, even granola, you can make them different every time. And so you can add things like pumpkin or apples or bananas or berries or raisins and cinnamon. And it can be different every time. Then it kind of keeps you from feeling that rut of oatmeal again. All right. Oh, I do not actually have very much. So I am going to add flaxseed. Often I will add chia seeds as well, but I'm out. I always feel like I'm out of something. So that's why I add other things. Nuts are another thing I would almost always add, but again, I am out of right now. So I do have peanuts, but that seems like a weird nut to put in oatmeal. I don't know. Am I wrong? So, of course, I will link the basic recipe that I am using, but I'm not following it exactly by any means. So then I just kind of mix it around. I'm going to put it on low, and that should be ready and done and thick and creamy by the time we get up for breakfast tomorrow morning. And here are my steel cut oats. I added some cinnamon and some maple syrup and some apples. And if you've never had steel cut oats, they're real like chewy and nutty. They're really good. I recommend you give them a try. They are very delicious, and yeah, give them a try. I am making granola tonight for breakfast tomorrow morning. It's a pretty quick breakfast on a Sunday morning when we're headed to church. 4 cups of oats. I have about a half a cup of nuts. I'm supposed to have a cup and a half, but that was all I had left. So we're just going to go for it. There's oil back there, cinnamon, salt, and honey. Here's my tip for honey. Always use the same measuring cup for your oil as your honey. Measure out your oil first, and then your honey, and then the honey comes right out of the measuring cup. It's beautiful. Of course, that really only works if you can convert to, like this recipe, it's 1/2 a cup of each. So I guess if it called for like 1/3 and 1/4, that wouldn't be quite as easy to do. But you could still make it work. So I'm just going to stir this up and pop it in the oven. And I will, of course, link the recipe below. But it'll just bake for a little bit, and I'll let it cool. I honestly will just like let it sit in the tray overnight. I might cover it with a tea towel. That's it. Out of the oven, I added some raisins to the top of it. It'll mix in the morning when we break that all up. We usually eat that with some yogurt or kefir and some fresh fruit or frozen fruit. Blueberries, it's really good and easy. Strawberries, berries in general. Bananas. We have a ridiculous amount of apples right now, so I might suggest maybe dicing up some apples to put in that. I think it looks pretty yummy. I'm excited.
I am making pancakes. I enjoy these because I get to cut up strawberries down there, and I have pineapple. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But I enjoy making these because my siblings really like them and my mom enjoys them.
So you put different
Yeah, I put different toppings.
Or add-ins, basically.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah.
So here's the batter. What did you put in the batter? You don't have to say how much. Just what ingredients are in there.
I put oats, cinnamon, baking powder, eggs.
Milk of some kind and oil.
Yeah, there's oil in there, but it's a pretty basic recipe.
Okay. And we'll link the recipe in the description, right?
Yep.
The one you followed?
Yes.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for making breakfast.
Yeah.
My daughter is getting ready to make oatmeal bites. And these are the 4 ingredients that are needed. They're super simple. Alright, she's got all those ingredients together. She's just mixing around. It's pretty simple. Looks a little gross, but tastes delicious. This one is really easy to make ahead. You can put them in the refrigerator or the freezer. And of course, I will link the recipe in the description. And here's the finished product. This isn't something that we do on a regular basis, but it's kind of a fun treat. Tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, it does. All right, my son is ready to take that away. All right, this is another breakfast that my daughter made. And this is a stovetop granola. Okay, so what she did was
Syrup, cinnamon, walnuts, and salt. I did not measure any of those.
Right. Yep, so we don't, this is just kind of something that we do, and I will see if I can find a recipe, because I know at one point there was a recipe that I followed. So, yeah, we just oil the pan, and we put the oats in, and then cinnamon, syrup, or honey, you can use honey, some nuts of some kind, and then usually a little bit of salt. And the key is to kind of get the oats a little bit wet and then let them cook. And it's quite delicious. What I like about it is if we want granola, but I haven't made it the night before, then we just make it in the pan. So if you have noticed a theme, pro tip, teach your kids to make breakfast. It makes the mornings go a little bit easier. And both of my older girls really enjoy cooking anyway, cooking and baking. So it's fun for them and easier for me. And there's mine ready to be eaten. So the granola, it's frozen berries. You could use any kind of berries. I like blueberries or raspberries the best. And then I have kefir right here, or you could do yogurt for sure. And we do that in all sorts of variations. I think we have blueberry kefir today, which will go very nicely with my blueberries. But plain works too, because the granola is sweet enough, especially if you add fruit to it. I always enjoy adding a banana to everything as well. Ooh, actually, I might do that today. Add another banana, so it's a lot of fruit, but we'll see. Okay, I'm getting ready to make some baked oatmeal. Excuse my messy kitchen. But it's messy. So these are all my ingredients. I think I grabbed everything. Maybe not. At least all the ones that I'm going to use. There's a few I am leaving out. A few I'm adding. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that. So that is Clean Food Crush's baked oatmeal recipe. I will link it below. And I just kind of base mine off of that. It's fall. Today is actually October 1st when I'm videoing. And I have a ginormous pile of apples from the apple orchard. And I probably should make these like apple flavored. But I'm going to use strawberries. Because I have a thing of strawberries that need to be used up. And I just bought like 2 ginormous things. But, so not very fall-like, but it'll still taste delicious. And I feel like everything in this is going to be apple or pumpkin flavored in some way. So we'll mix it up a little bit. But I like this because it's an easy mix. I don't even mix it in a bowl. I mix it right in my 9x13. And yeah, I'll put it in the oven tonight and then it can just be warmed up in the morning and its breakfast is ready. We'll probably cut up that melon right there to go with it. Melon and strawberry, banana, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't sound good. We'll see. There is, the recipe says to let it soak before you add the nuts and fruit. I didn't. but I might let it soak right now, and then it bakes for at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. So I can handle an hour. It's like 9 o'clock right now. I'm usually up pretty late, so. But that is why I like to make this at night instead of in the morning. That way I don't have to wait an hour in the morning for breakfast.
Mom, it's around his neck.
There it is, all done.
I think
There's no frogs in the oatmeal. Okay, so I didn't even cover regular oats. These actually aren't regular oats. These are steel cut oats, and they're a quick cook steel cut oat. They take just about 7 to 10 minutes to cook, and I really like them. They're really, they kind of give like a nutty flavor, and then they're less expensive. They're the same amount, but they just don't take as much, whereas regular oats have like a 2-to-1 ratio with water or whatever liquid you're cooking them in. These steel cut oats only have a 3-to-1 ratio. So you can top these oats or any regular oats. So you can cook these oats or any other steel cut oats, and you can just top them with like peaches and cream or blueberries. Apple and cinnamon is really good. My kids are playing with a walkie-talkie. One of my favorites is maple syrup, banana, and walnut or almonds. Just got some nut. My kids used to really like when we did coconut, so I would do a little bit of cocoa powder and just coconut flakes. We would do a mixed berry. A lot of these berries, I like to just use frozen berries, and then they kind of melt and get gooey and yummy in there. So those are some of our favorite just kind of regular oatmeal toppings. So that would be something you could try as well. Okay, here I have my son. He wanted some blueberries and some sugar in his, and he likes to eat with what he calls measure spoons because he's 3. And then my 5-year-old daughter wanted banana and sugar and cinnamon on hers. So with the sugar, I just do like a half a teaspoon of coconut sugar, or you could do just regular sugar, or even brown sugar is really yummy. We also do honey or maple syrup as well as an option, but I usually only let them pick one sugar option. Alright, and then here's mine. I just have banana, almonds, cinnamon, and maple syrup, and then I also put a big scoop of... Yep, he saw me do it. I just put a big dollop of peanut butter in mine. A friend of mine mentioned that to me like a year and a half ago, and I thought it sounded so weird, but I love it. It's so good in oatmeal. And actually, my daughter just reminded me of something else that we often put in oatmeal, which is jelly. Sometimes that is one of their sugar options. They can choose a spoonful of jelly in their oatmeal, so that flavors it and sweetens it as well. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this week as we made some oatmeal together. I would love to know what your favorite way to serve oats is, or maybe I hate oatmeal. I don't know. Let me know. Tell me in the comments. Make sure you check out the recipes linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe. I make videos on motherhood, marriage, and homemaking. Please remember, whether you're making oatmeal or Pop-Tarts or bacon, eggs, and potatoes, you are okay, just the way you are. I'll see you soon.